World War II was a global war that lasted from 1939 to 1945. Men and women, realistically boys and girls, agreed to give their lives, if need be, in the fight between the Allies and the Axis.
Most, alive and dead, were brought home to honors. The veterans of World War II are now in their 80s, their 90s, and their hundreds, and it is our duty now to show them honor. With us this afternoon is Chris Hilliard. He's the safety officer for Watson Funeral Home in Millsboro, and he has a story this afternoon that's going to get your attention. Chris, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it. What's going on? What's happening?
Well, over the past couple of years, we've had a number of decedents that were cremated, and unfortunately were left in our funeral home. And
just left?
Just left, yeah. They were never came to be claimed by their family members. Okay. They probably had family that came to make the arrangements, sign for the authorization to be cremated, right. And then they were never claimed, unfortunately.
So what happens to them?
So every funeral home, believe it or not, has cremated remains that just are abandoned. New legislation has changed that after 60 days, we notify the Attorney General's office that we have this, that we have these cremated remains, and then that gives us the authorization to do final disposition, but have it in a manner that we can get those ashes back if family does happen to turn up.
Oh, okay. Why would family just not?
You know, I had to question that myself. We interred 13 cremated remains at Woodlawn Cemetery in Millsboro in a mausoleum crypt that we bought, and the only thing that we could probably think of is you know, social economic reasons, or you know, the common misconception is, well, if I don't pay my bill, I can't get my loved one's ashes, which is not true.
Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. A funeral home cannot hold hostage of remains at all.
So it probably wasn't malicious, or
no,
just...
of course not. No, it was probably just a misunderstanding, unfortunately.
So you decided to dig in and find out a little bit more. What did you find out?
Well, over the years, through the different owners, they've tried to find next of kin, and since this legislation has changed a little bit, we can now talk to distant relatives. It doesn't actually have to be the person that has the final disposition. So I was researching, trying to find whatever I could, and on a little note card with all the records, it had a little WW2. So that brought an inquiry to St. Louis, Missouri, to the National Archives, and they sent us a letter. Unfortunately, not the real DD-214, because those burned up back in the 70s.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a large fire at the National Archives, the National Personnel Archives, in St. Louis back in the 70s.
What do you mean by DD-14?
Oh, so the DD-214 is it's a document that it's pretty much your discharge out of the military.
Oh, okay.
It's all the records that you had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can't get a copy of that if you served in a certain time period.
So you got a letter.
I got a letter saying that these two individuals, one that had died in 1985 and one that died in 1993, served in the Army. The gentleman that served that died in 93 served for two and a half years. And then the gentleman that died in 85 served for about a year overseas.
So these are not recent.
Oh no.
Passings.
No, the oldest one I think we had was from back in the late 60s. Yeah. So.
Wow.
So.
So the two that you have.
Yes.
You are now going to be able to bury with honors? Yes.
So we're going to have members from the Army, servicemen from the Army, coming to do a dual flag folding ceremony. We have the American Legion post in Long Neck. They're going to be there with their firing party, and we're going to do full military honors for these gentlemen.
And when's that happening?
So the service is going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the Veterans Cemetery on Patriots Way in Millsboro. Mm-hmm. And it's great because we were able to find family members for both veterans.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Distant, very distant. One I had to find, he was overseas. So really? He came over, and he's been over here in the States for a few months.
So he'll be there for the service?
So he'll be here for the service, hopefully, yes.
That's a fantastic story. Thank you for what you're doing. Is there something that we can do now?
You know, the biggest thing is show your support for all your veterans. I remember going to the groundbreaking ceremony for the World War II monument in 2001,
right.
Weeks after 9/11, and World War II veterans are dying more and more. and I think that we just need to show them respect as best we can.
So would it be okay if we showed up at these services?
Absolutely. Please, we invite the entire public to come out. It'll be a great service with the Reverend Dr. Jim Vanderwall will be doing the service. So we invite anybody that wants to come out to show their support for these two gentlemen.
Again, that is tomorrow, 2 p.m. at Patriots Way in Millsboro. That's where the Veterans Cemetery is. Go and show your respect. That would be wonderful. Chris Hilliard, Safety Officer for Watson Funeral Home in Millsboro. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful talking to you.